Two bros chilling in the hot tub.
You the twos and we the ones? Well, you are the biggest two of them all, my dog. That's what you are. You are a giant number two.
If someone robbed me, I'd go to the cops. That's what the law is for. You go to the police. You go to the people who are paid to handle this. We learned nothing from Aaron Hernandez. Did we learn nothing from so many people who've been put into prison? They do not care. They will throw the book at you. You're not a Patrick Mahomes. You are not an elite number one guy. You are not going to get off on this.
Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome to a brand new episode of the Two Bros Podcast. As always, I am Bryce, and I am joined by, I don't know where you are.
You guys, I am Matt. Look at that. I put a new jersey up behind me. It's my
I'm
Baker
actually in a different location. I'm in the same house, but
up it. Oh, look at him. What's he doing? Oh, he had to close that cabinet. Since he's walking away, I'll get it started off with the beginning topic. We're going to talk a little bit about the WWE. I don't care what you guys say, anti-wrestling fans. We're going to talk some wrestling because we're fans of it. Sami Zayn. I'm excited to hear you think about this. Sami Zayn has finally won the WWE Championship. Not just the WWE Championship, but the undisputed WWE Championship in a triple threat match against Gunther and Cody Rhodes with a roll-up pin on Cody Rhodes at Night of Champions. Bryce, what do you think about this?
I think it's way too late. I think the momentum of Sami Zayn is gone, for fan-wise at least. I think fans care. I think his fan support is at an all-time low right now because you saw his Intercontinental Championship reign or his U.S. Championship reign. It was an Intercontinental Championship reign with Trick Williams, right?
Yeah. No, U.S.
It was U.S., yeah. And people hated him. Like, people have called him Sammy Hogan for a while now. And with him not putting over talent, and then he finally loses the title at Mania, and then he does good work, and then he gets in this weird angle where will he challenge for the WWE Championship, will he not? And then he gets added into the match between Cody and Gunther, and then he wins cheaply by rolling up Cody for the win. And I don't know what their plan is necessarily. I know another thing that came out is people are mad last night that Oba kind of relinquished his title opportunity by facing Brock at SummerSlam, and then Jay was immediately put into that spot instead of Oba, where he's facing Sami Zayn now at SummerSlam for the undisputed WWE Championship. And I think Jay is a guy that will be more hated than Cody, and I think they did this so Cody can fully take time off and kind of rest and do movie promotion for Street Fighter because that's coming out soon.
I also think that you are right that Jay is insanely hated. I think that was almost a way of them to get some of the heat off Sammy, because I think, the way they're going to get Sammy cheered is if you put him up against someone like Jay. Let's be honest, any heel you put up against Sammy, they're getting cheered over Sammy.
Oh, yeah.
The WWE crowd hates Jay more than anyone else. And first off, I actually really I'm glad that Sammy got this. I think he deserved it. 10 plus. It is really a little too late, but I think at some point he needed it. I don't think this is the triumphing moment like Kofi Mania was, but I do agree that he needed it at some point in his career. I do hope that this is not a way for Jay to win it. I do think that we're going to get a bit of a lengthy run. I wouldn't be surprised that if at some point we do see Oba taking out Sam.
Yeah, I agree. Sorry, there was a signing, so I had to add it. Yeah, finally, free agency is starting to pick up.
Now that's that big deal.
If you guys are not paying attention, free agency is happening right now, and
it's Tuesday
right now because it's maybe happening. I think teams have not woken up yet from the fact that free agency started.
Yeah, I think they're still reeling from the trades we've seen, which we'll talk about.
We're going to talk about that later. But before we move on, one last thing is I think Sammy got cheered because people were kind of tired of Cody and Gunther too getting the spotlight, because Cody and Gunther have been in pretty much every big time storyline in WWE over the last 2 or 3 years. And I think it's nice to see a new face not in the title picture for once. Sami Zayn has been in the WWE title picture, but he's never been really taken seriously. So I'm really hoping that they won't turn this into kind of like a Drew thing where he was a transitional champion.
Well,
and I think he's going to have a long reign considering his opponent at SummerSlam, Jey Uso. I'm Jey Uso will not win the title. I think people are sick of Jey Uso. In the singles picture, he needs to stay solely locked into the tag picture or in the Intercontinental Championship picture.
Well, you brought up a name that I think could have a play in this. I think there's two people who were very vital in the next steps for Sammy. One being Drew McIntyre. I wonder if we do see at some point a Sami Zayn versus Drew McIntyre feud for this title. And I wonder if this is a way to bring back Karrion Cross. We
Oh yeah,
need to.
did
We
you
need to
see?
recognize-
Did
Yeah,
you
he
see?
it was super excited for him. But I think this would be a great way to reintroduce Karrion Cross, not
I
just as a player.
saw something else too.
He on not just as the wrestler that he is on the what's it called, the independents, but I think that this could be a great way to introduce Karrion Cross as a main event guy and maybe even be the one to dethrone Sami Zayn. Because I think that realistically, it wouldn't be that big for Oba to dethrone him. Now that I think about it, Oba needs to dethrone Roman Reigns. That will make him the monster that he
Oba
is.
needs to get past Brock
He
fully.
needs to get past Brock and take down Roman.
He's going to retire Brock at Mania. Oba will.
WrestleMania at SummerSlam. I
At
mean.
SummerSlam, yeah. I don't know why I kept saying.
Well, he did originally. We thought he retired him at Mania.
Yeah, that was the great. I think that was the greatest fake retirement in WWE history because everybody legitimately thought it was it was real. He was gone for a few weeks, and then we see him at a Raw a few weeks later, just coming back and attacking Oba. So
No, that was a very
I
good
think
move.
we're finally getting a Brock retirement at SummerSlam in Minnesota. So, but I saw this today, and Sean Ross Sapp is reporting it, so it's pretty true. And Enzo and Cass are returning to WWE. Big Bill's contract is up with AEW, and all signs point to him returning to WWE. And Enzo has been training at the Performance Center for a few weeks now. So take with that what you
I
will.
like it. I think these are two talents that WWE fumbled big time. I think we all recognize how good they were. The fact that they were never tag team champions just blows my mind.
But
I
that's
think
what they were, that they were so over and they didn't win.
I think
championship.
they would be perfect for the SmackDown tag team division right now. To be honest, I couldn't even tell you who are the tag champions over in SmackDown. Literally, I had no clue.
Pretty sure I think I barely know the Raw tag team champions right now.
It's that's
Profits.
Street Profits. Right now, it's R-Truth and Damian Priest.
Oh yeah.
Very random.
They're
They've
kind of
had it
doing
since March
they're
20th.
kind of doing throw together tag teams on SmackDown.
Yeah, I mean, and you look at the past history, right? So before them was the MFTs, and then before them was the Wyatt Six, and then before them was the Street Profits. So I think a tag team like Enzo and Cass could be what would revitalize the SmackDown tag team division.
Ironically, I think that the Raw tag team division right now is better than the SmackDown tag team division. And I really don't think the WWE cares about the male tag team division right now because both are not really that exciting. Really, the exciting tag team division in WWE right now is the women's tag team division. And
100%.
that was something that probably going into 2025, we thought would never happen, where they're getting prioritized. And now you have main eventers as the tag team champions right now. And I think it's a good look when you have a main eventer stepping away from the main event scene and building up a mid-card title or a tag.
So I'll give you names of who are in the SmackDown tag team division. I'll give you the ones in the Raw. Right now, SmackDown has Fraxium, Legado del Fantasma, and the MFTs.
Just three.
Raw has the Street Profits, the Vision, the Bloodline, the Judgment Day, American Made, and LWO.
Like, Raw is clearly better right now.
Now, obviously, we do recognize. Oh, I'm sorry. The Tag SmackDown also has R-Truth and Damian Priest as their champions. Now, when Elton Prince comes back, we do get Pretty Deadly back eventually. I do think we'll see a call up. I wouldn't be surprised if Darkseid makes their way up at some point. But I think that Enzo and Cass could come in and fully revitalize the SmackDown tag team division that needs it badly. I think that if we're going to see this happen, I do think that the new look MFTs should take the titles off of Priest and Truth, because I think the MFTs are the best tag team they have right now. Either that or Legado del Fantasma.
I think I also saw that Solo is a part of the Bloodline again. He's helping.
Not exactly. So on the most recent SmackDown, on the most recent whatever it was, he was actually trying to recruit Elaine Knight to be his tag team partner. which makes me think we're
LA
about to get another mismatched tag team just to hunt down the bloodline.
LA Knight is fallen
Now,
substantially.
if we're going to get a bloodline hunters tag team, that's fine. I think it should be Kevin Owens and Drew McIntyre.
Kevin Owens, Drew McIntyre, LA Knight,
A faction would be fine.
Seth Rollins.
Seth Rollins. Well, this is the weird thing. Seth Rollins approached Roman Reigns about carrying the hatchet,
So
so we could get the Shield, a miniature Shield reunion.
Jacob Fatu is with Roman now.
He's with the Bloodline. Raw is on fire right now. I think that Enzo and Cass need to go to SmackDown.
Honestly, I'm not really watching either right now, but I feel like I'm paying more attention to Raw right now than I am.
Raw's better in every way.
Because SmackDown, I feel like for almost a year now has essentially sucked.
So I will say right now, the only thing Raw is struggling with is their mid card. Penta's great, but he's not been around much. While I feel like Trick Williams has been carrying SmackDown.
Well, Triple Williams is incredible. So.
Even like Rhea Ripley's been a little boring with her their title reign.
I feel like the world champions on Raw are significantly better than the SmackDown.
Well, yeah, you have Roman Reigns, you have Penta.
Well, I said world champions.
So Roman Reigns, of course.
Roman and Liv.
Yeah, well, Liv, I don't think you're having it much longer. I do think she drops the title to Io Sky.
Even though I don't like Liv, she does bring some sort of relevance to any title that she has. So, yeah. But that was WWE. We talked about WWE for 11 minutes. But now we're going to get into the NFL because even though there's been more NFL news, it's kind of been still very minor. And I feel like the NFL has been carried by one story essentially for the last 5-6 weeks.
That we're not going to get too far in.
Because you've heard it shoved down your throats over the last a month and a half, 2 months or so. But this one came yesterday morning, in which former NFL running back, All-Pro running back Chris Johnson revealed on Good Morning America that he had been diagnosed with ALS. He got diagnosed in 2025, and it has progressed to the point where he is not able to talk anymore. He's using his eyes to speak with a machine, essentially.
I mean, so we saw, I don't know if you looked at it, but like if you run through Twitter, pretty much everyone in the NFL community was showing their support for him. It's so hard. You know, we obviously, like with us in our age, we remember CJ2K for the end of his career. We didn't see much of him in his prime because we saw him, but we were not as cognitive as we could have been. CJ2K, if you don't know, the reason he has the nickname CJ2K is because he had 2,000 rushing yards
back in 2009.
He was one of He was one of the, in my opinion, the best running backs of our generation. Insanely underrated, Madden cover athlete, somebody who had nothing. Well, he wasn't.
No.
Oh, he was.
No.
Nothing but burner speed, and also just a very good guy. Like there wasn't a lot. Yes, he had his off-field things, but there was not a lot about him being like, "Wow, what a scumbag!" Like just a really likable guy. So to see this happen, nothing but like prayer. It's so hard to watch someone who is so revered and just a good person like that have this happen to them.
Why are we in 2026 and it's still a thing? ALS.
I mean, I feel obviously it's a
case was, well, one of the first major cases was Lou Gehrig, hence why it's called Lou Gehrig's disease.
I mean, there's no real
100 years ago,
but there's no real way to fix it, you know. And we don't have I mean, it's just the nerves. It's like it's like a neurological disease. You really can't fix it. You know, you can treat it. There's medications to slow it, but like in the end of the day, like it's really it comes down to your body just taking a turn for the worse. I mean, once again, there's speech therapy, and yet, like I do believe I have faith that Chris Johnson can get his motor skills back, can get the ability to speak. It's going to take a lot, and I think at least it happened to someone who truly can afford it.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of people out there with ALS who can't afford the treatment. There's a lot of people out there with ALS who are sadly going to let it take them. CJ has the upper hand to afford the treatment.
I saw that there are 2 guys from that 09 Titans team that are diagnosed with ALS. Another guy, Tim Shaw, talked about Chris Johnson getting it and how it was.
So I don't know enough about the disease. I don't know if it's something that comes from brain trauma. I'm not sure. I really don't want to speak on something that I don't know about. But what I do know is the research I've done, there are no concrete treatments, but there are things that can slow it or dull the effect.
Yeah, it just sucks that we're still hearing about ALS, and hopefully one day there will be a way that we don't hear about it anymore because somebody has cured it. And when
Hopefully
we
there's
it is, yeah, here's how we can do. Like,
hopefully there's a day we don't hear about cancer
uh,
or all kinds of
probably
things,
not.
HIV.
Probably not. Anyways, now the Browns are doing Brown stuff, in which they have hired former NFL executive Ryan Grigson as a senior football advisor.
Wasn't he responsible for, like, the
He
terrible
is
Colts that
he
ran
is
the luck out of the
responsible
NFL?
for essentially retiring Andrew Luck and being the reason why the Colts have been middling since 2019. Well, even
Be
earlier
honest,
than that, because Ryan Grigson in the 2015 NFL offseason spent $550,000 on offensive linemen, the offensive line. Todd Harrimans was the offensive lineman they got. That offseason, they also spent $55 million on Andre Johnson, Frank Gore, and Trent Cole.
this is the most one of the most Browns things you can imagine. It's almost like he's gonna kill the career of a young quarterback before it even starts. If I'm Shador, I'm pissed.
If I'm Shador, I'm pissed. If I'm Deshaun, I'm pissed. If I'm Dylan Gabriel, I'm pissed. If I'm Taylor Green, I'm pissed. Because why are you doing this? Like, this is pointless. Brian Grigson has shown that he does not know how to run an NFL team. And I get he's the senior football advisor, so he's going to give them his opinions. But
Ugh.
this is a guy who has a past of ruining promising young quarterbacks. Hence Andrew Luck. Hence why, as a Colts fan, I still hate my life as a football fan to this day because of Ryan Griggs. Now, two more things we're just going to really scrape over and really talk about because a Florida judge found probable cause for Terrion Arnold to face charges for armed robbery and kidnapping, but denied the prosecutor's motion that he be held without bond. The state asked the judge to require Arnold to wear a GPS tracking device, but his attorneys argued that he would not be able to play football with such a device. And in following that, the Lions released Terrion.
Then he shouldn't have to worry about the device. He's not playing any football.
Exactly. And here's my thing. Did the sports world learn nothing by the fact that KCP essentially played basketball with an ankle monitor on, and then the second he was done, he went right back to jail? You do realize that's a thing that happens, right? It's happened before.
Yeah,
KCP went to jail, played basketball with an ankle monitor, and right after the game, he went right back into jail. Like, that's not an excuse.
oh my gosh. That's actually
It's
kinda crazy. And he played multiple.
Yeah, he played
It
like 2
wasn't
months
once.
with that thing on.
He played twice. They just
Yeah,
happened to both be home games, but it was twice.
yeah, he had to go right back to jail after the game.
First off, like, just to get down to the brass tacks, what he did is despicable. That is
Oh, yeah.
absolutely vile to ever I mean, God, kidnapping?
And I get he felt that he was wronged because he got money stolen from him, and then it was the wrong guy, but let due process
Yeah,
happen.
I get it. I mean, I don't get it, I'm sorry, I don't get it. If someone robbed me, I'd go to the cops. Just overall, that's what the law is for. You go to the police officers. You go to the people who are paid to handle this. Have we learned nothing from Aaron Hernandez? Did we learn nothing from so many people who've been put into prison? They do not care. They will throw the book at you. Sorry, you're not a Patrick Mahomes. You are not an elite number one guy. You are not going to get off on this.
Yeah, well, he was a first-round rookie 2 years ago, but
So
still.
I'm sorry, looking at him, he wasn't even that good the past 2 years. He's been getting DNPs. He's been getting benched. So I'm
Mhm.
sorry, you're not important enough to this team. You saw it. They released you. They didn't do anything to help you. They released you. Do
Yeah,
not do not take things into your own hands. Look, you being a bad player is one thing. You'll get a million chances. We've seen it with a lot of bad corners in the past. For God's sakes, the Lions had a really crappy corner who then ended up with the Texans. I forget his name already. Oh God, I forget.
Jeff Okudah.
Thank you, Jeff Okuda. Like that's one thing.
Well,
You get
he
bad.
wasn't bad, he was just not what they expected him to be.
Point is, yeah, being bad is one thing. Don't be an idiot.
Being bad and being stupid at the same time.
Like once again, yeah, you got stolen from. That sucks. That's awful, and I'm sorry that
Like
happened to you.
250K stolen from you. That
It was
sucks.
not to kidnap somebody.
And not only kidnap them, but get people to beat them within an inch of their life. And it
You're in
was the
the
wrong person
guess what? That 250 grand they stole from you, you'll make that back.
next season.
Not even just next season. The guy was a first round rookie. He probably had about a 10, $12 million deal. You'll make it back. And guess what? You can afford the greatest lawyers in the world.
Mhm.
Pay them. You'll get your 250 grand back and probably then some. And guess what? You'll be looked at as the victim. Instead, now you're looked at as an idiot who threw away his NFL career
Yep.
over $250,000.
Speaking of guys who potentially threw away their career, this guy made the smartest decision he's ever done because we are talking about Brendan Sorsby for the what, sixth week in a row now?
The
Because
final week.
the final week, because the saga is finally over. Because Brendan Sorsby's lawyer has told teams he will not pursue legal action against the league and instead will prepare for the 2027 NFL draft. And he has been named eligible for the 2027 draft, meaning he is not eligible to be picked up by teams until the 2027 draft, which fair. That's usually what they do for everybody. That's usually how 20 draft prospects for the next season makes sense. But finally, it's over. I think he's finally starting to maybe take accountability for his own actions by not pursuing this and accepting it.
It
Finally.
took them way long enough. Now, this is the brunt of our NFL conversation. Bryce and I are going to do our NFC. We're starting our entire NFL. We're going one division at a time leading up to the season. We're talking about our previews for each division and what better division to start with than the one that had the most moves and the Super Bowl champion, the NFC West.
Probably the 2027 Super Bowl champions.
What we're going to do is we're going to start from 4-1 because I think we both have the same number 4. We're not dumb. But
Yeah.
Bryce is going to have a few things he wants to say about each team as we go about it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start us off with our 4. I have the Arizona Cardinals at 4-13.
I have the Arizona Cardinals at 1-16. I have obviously their additions: Gardner Minshew, Carson Beck, who was drafted in the 3rd round, Tyler Algier, Jeremiah Love, who is probably the best player in the draft. They got Isaac Lamelo, and then they drafted rookie guard Chase Pasantis, and they lost Amari DeMercado, Michael Carter, Kyler Murray, Greg Dortch, and Calais Campbell. But this team is still at all. They're going to be the worst team in football. I will say that. Whether you think they win, one game, 2 games, 3 games, it doesn't matter. They're going to be the worst team in the
I can see that. I put them at 4-13 just because I think that there are teams that are worse than them. The Jets exist. The Dolphins exist.
I
Even
mean,
with the NFC,
the Jets have a quarterback floor now, at least. The Jets have a consistent quarterback play.
even within the NFC, I think there are some teams you could argue might be a little worse than them. I would still put someone like the Falcons up there, maybe the Saints.
Falcons were 8-9 last year. The Saints were 8-9 last year.
Depending on who plays for them, I could see the Vikings falling in the
The
same
Vikings
range.
were 9-8 last year.
I understand. But I have them at 4-13 because also it's any given Sunday. We're going to see one of these. We're going to see them take down one of these teams in a game that shouldn't matter because Jacoby Brissett throws 5 touchdowns. That's just how it goes. Or
They went
Tyler
0-12
Algier.
as a starter last year.
Hmm.
They went 0-12 with Jacoby as the starter.
I think 4-13 makes more sense instead of 1-16. This is where we're going to differentiate. My number 3 is San Francisco at 7-10. I think this is going to be a down year for the San Francisco 49ers. I just think the top 2 are way too strong. And I think when you lose early to division opponents, it sets the precedent for your season. And these guys face off against some juggernauts pretty quickly into their season.
I actually have the Seattle Seahawks, the defending champions, finishing 3rd at a record of 10-7. I think them losing Kenneth Walker hurts, Tariq Woolen and Draymond Jones hurt, but they added Jadarian Price, they added Bud Clark, who is a rookie safety, and they drafted an underrated offensive lineman, rookie guard Bo Stevens in the 5th round. And they resigned or retained JSN, Derek Hall, Jaron Reed, Ernest Jones, and Rashid Shaheed. This team will be good. However, I do think the losses of K9 and Tariq Woolen will be the one to hurt them more than they realize.
I can see that. I think we're going to have, I'm looking at your list. We have one thing that we agree on, and that's literally it. But I can see what you're saying. I think Seattle did take a lot of losses. I think the one thing about Seattle is they're insanely well coached. And this, to me, this proves Sam Darnold is a franchise quarterback. Is he elite? No, but he's a franchise quarterback. I also think that weird people are very underrating Shadarian Price as
I
a running back. I didn't say you did, but I think people in general are underrating Shadarian Price. I think looking at their departures, Tariq Woolen hurts them the most. But I just think that this team is so well coached. Getting Bud Clark, adding on just overall depth, I think this team will be just fine. For me, the issue with San Francisco is that they live in a glass house. They are consistently injured, and this team, honestly, wouldn't be surprised if we see Mike Evans go down. Wouldn't be surprised if we see Brock Purdy go down. Outside of Mike Evans, who is their best? Who's their next best receiver if he goes down? We can see a similar thing in the Buccaneers. Once again, their defense, bringing back Dre Greenlaw is awesome, but dear God, the guy can't stay on the field for more than 3 games at a time. Same with Fred Warner, same with Nick Bosa.
We
I
also saw them last year deal with all these injuries too, and it
I
didn't
think
matter. They
what
still won
happens is
12 games.
over time, when you have these injuries consistently year after year, there's going to be a year where it all falls apart. I understand Shanahan's in one of the top 5 best coaches in the league right now. I think you cannot deal with these injuries year after year after year after year and be as good as you are. It just has to fall off at some point.
I mean, if Mike Evans gets hurt, they still have Ricky Pearsall, who pretty good. Christian
And
Kirk, who's pretty good, and then Demarcus Robinson is underrated. Kittle's expected to be back week 1. If Brock Purdy gets hurt again, Mac Jones filled in admirably last year and arguably looked like he was going to be a guy who was fighting for a starting job. So we could see that again. And then if Christian McCaffrey gets hurt, they have a new guy in what's his name? I have him. They have Jordan James. They have what's his name? They just
Wait,
drafted
Brian Robinson?
what? Brian Robinson is Bijan Robinson's backup, remember?
Oh yeah, B. Robinson's.
Yeah. Let me see. I have him on my Kentrell Miller, I think. No, it's not Kentrell Miller. What am I talking about? What's his name? Kalen Black. They have Kalen Black, who is potentially going to be their running back in the future. And I really love this. Obviously, Joey Bosa potentially missing the whole year, or Nick Bosa potentially missing the whole year sucks because didn't he tear his ACL last year? Pretty sure he tore it like halfway through the year last year
Yeah,
or
it's pretty
something
late.
late in the year. So, but I do feel like San Francisco defense is kind of like the New England defense of old, where it doesn't matter who plays defense for them. They didn't have Fred Warner all last year. They were still fine. They won 12 games. So I do feel like regardless, it doesn't matter. Their floor is 9 wins, regardless.
We'll see.
We talked about that for way too long. But and we haven't even got to number 1 yet, who I think is number 1 yet.
So number 2, I have the Los Angeles Rams at 14-3, who are a playoff team. I love the addition of the Rams had this offseason. Trust me, I get it. You're giving me that look. I have the Rams at 14-3.
When you add Myles Garrett, Trent McDuffie, Jalen Watson, it doesn't matter. You're going to win the division at worst.
It's going to take time to get chemistry. I don't think this team is going to mesh and gel right away. I think this team is going to have some hiccups. Three losses, that hiccup will be 3 losses. 2 of them to the team who I have winning the division, and 1 of them to another team in their division.
I have the 49ers at second with 12-5. I think they're going to go 12-5. I do think that the NFC West was a bloodbath next year with 3 really solid, really elite teams. And I think we're going to get it again, where we're going to have the NFC West again competing for the Super Bowl between whether it be the Seahawks, the 49ers, or the Rams. It doesn't matter. Yeah, but my first team is the Rams at 14-3. I think they're gonna have the best record in the entire league because we get Myles Garrett, Trent McDuffie, Jalen Watson. You also drafted Ty Simpson in case Matt Stafford, the reigning MVP, by the way, gets hurt. So they fixed their defensive flaws last year, which you're not gonna be able to pass on this team. They solved another issue that they really didn't need by trading it for Myles Garrett. It was an added luxury. So I don't really see a weakness of this team. They're the only team in the NFL that does not have a weakness at all because they have an elite offensive line. Their tight end room is elite with Tyler Higbee, Colby Parkinson. They drafted Max Clare in the second round. Terrence Ferguson is really good. They're going to run some 3 tight end sets. Kyron Williams is really good. Blake Corum is really good. There's not a chance that this team is lower than the 1 seed in the NFL.
So for me, I have the reigning defending champions winning this division also at 14-3, holding a tiebreaker due to a better division record and 2 wins over the Los Angeles Rams. Being the number 1 seed in the NFC and obviously playoff bound, I think it's hard to choose a defending champions. I think when you are so well coached, I do believe Mike Macdonald's the best coach in this division. Wow,
No way.
my opinion. I think that Mike
He's the
McDonald,
3rd best coach in the NFC West.
in my opinion, he's the best. I think this team has not just amazing coaches, amazing assistants, and they have amazing chemistry, which is for me, it's going to put them over the Los Angeles Rams. I have the Seattle Seahawks being the number 1 seed in the NFC, 14-3, with a 5 seed falling to the Rams due to not winning their division, kind of like we saw with the Lions and the Vikings a few years ago. All right, on to the NBA, the most important part of this episode. Bryce, to kick us off while I go grab my phone.
Okay, so yesterday morning, Malik Beasley was indicted on federal charges related to a sports betting scheme such as point shaving and prop bets. And I'm assuming this is linked to the Chauncey Billups, Damon Jones, Terry Rozier stuff. I'm assuming so because he was the first of the big major gambling scandal. And I'm assuming he's linked to Damon Jones, Chauncey Billups, and Terry Rozier. However, that's speculation, but what's not speculation is that he did all this. So
You left out that Ed Davis was also charged in
Ed
this.
Davis I didn't even
Ed
see
Davis,
that. Oh my
Ed
goodness.
Davis was charged. Let me make sure I'm being correct.
Oh my goodness. I
Yes,
didn't even
Ed
see
Davis
that.
was also charged and indicted on gambling probes. So basically, the deal with Ed Davis is Malik Beasley owed Ed Davis money. They were
So
gambling.
he didn't actually he wasn't. It
This is what
wasn't
I'm
while he
reading.
was playing.
Ed Davis' part in this was that he did owe. Beasley owed. So Beasley informed Ed Davis he would try to outperform the 3.5 prop line bet for rebounds in Milwaukee's game against the Clippers. With a second left, the Bucks ahead by 7 points, and a shot by the Clippers would not affect the outcome. Beasley challenged the shot, and then dashed past 4 players and grabbed a rebound.
So Ed Davis wasn't
a co-conspirator for him. Ed Davis was a co-conspirator, kind of pushing Beasley to make bets.
I mean, I don't really feel like his is that huge.
His is not as bad. It's just him being a co-conspirator about it also brings him
or something.
He'll probably get jail time just because he also was placing bets with him. Now, he wasn't placing bets on games he was in
While he was playing,
but due to him pushing for these bets being made while Malik Beasley was in the NBA, he's also been indicted.
Zach Collins, free agency, which we're going to get to later. But the Warriors are aiming to sign LeBron James and trade for Anthony Davis. One of these has already fallen through, and that is the Wizards have no interest in trading Anthony Davis to anybody at all right now. And Draymond Green opted out of his $27.7 million player option and will become a free agent. Also this morning, LeBron James informed the Lakers that he will be moving on from the Lakers after 8 seasons, 8 All-Star appearances with them, and 1 championship. Also 2 conference finals appearances, and he's made the playoffs 5 of 8 years with.
Yeah, so it's ironic because you're right. Reading through this, you definitely made these notes. I believe it was yesterday, because these things is just not going to happen anymore. It's interesting to see what might happen with LeBron. I'm reading there's pretty much 3 teams. It's a 3-team race of the Cavaliers, the Heat,
Miami,
Warriors. Things seem
Cleveland,
to turn. Now Miami can offer him the most money due to the Kristaps Porzingis contract. Miami can offer him about $7 million. Golden State can offer him 6, and Cleveland can offer him 4. To think about LeBron James playing on $7 million max. Now, if
it's a steal regardless.
To see Golden State trade, I believe it's Moses Moody, which would clear up a little bit enough for him the $15 million player. The $15 million MLE, I do think LeBron ends up in gold. I think it makes a lot of sense. He's good friends with Draymond, who's willing to take a pay cut. Steph Curry, when Jimmy Butler comes back, this is going to be a good team, but not a great team.
I mean, I think a lineup of Steph, Jimmy, LeBron, Draymond, and Kristaps is pretty scary, actually,
I just
considering
think when they're
two of those
healthy,
guys haven't really fallen off yet.
no, Steph and
Three of them,
LeBron are
really.
still very good. I just worry about health. Obviously, the person who you have to look at as the healthiest in that is Draymond. But if it's just Draymond on the floor, how efficient or how beneficial is he to lead your offense? I think you're going to look at this team almost kind of in the same sense of the KD, Kyrie, and James Harden nets of, are we going to get 15 to 20 games of them total, or are we going to get at least a half a season of them total?
Yeah. But now we're going to kind of lump both of these together because it kind of relates to the same team because Marcus Smart opted out of his $5.4 million player option and is becoming an unrestricted free agent. And then I wish this guy wouldn't have opted into his contract because DeAndre Ayton opted into his $8.1 million player option and will stay with the Lakers next year. Maybe. We'll see.
No, I think if you can have DeAndre Ayton as a backup, that's not an issue.
But I feel like if there's moves to be made to improve your team, and a team needs an $8 million contract to make it work. Sorry, DeAndre Ayton, you gotta go because the Lakers have cap space now and they have ways to improve their roster. They have, I think, right now 7 guys in their roster because Rui's technically not on the roster. Marcus Smart's not on the roster. LeBron James isn't on the roster. Chris Mannion's not on the roster. I'm pretty sure it's only Austin Reeves, Jake LaRavia, Luka Doncic, Cam Carr, obviously. But
Great draft pick.
yeah. Oh, great pick. I'm super excited about that. Luke Kennard is not a Laker anymore, which we'll get to later. But I really am curious on what the Lakers are.
Yeah, it's gonna be a weird team. I think this is gonna be a transitionary year.
It
I
really,
really don't know. What's up?
it really is going to be a transition.
This is gonna be a year where you see them probably missing the playoffs.
I don't think they're going to miss
Being a
that.
play-in team,
I
I
think
just don't think this team's gonna be very good.
okay, now we're going to talk about Miami because Andrew Wiggins opted into his $30.1 million player option and will sign a 3-year, $64 million extension to stay with Miami.
Well, not
I mean, he's an NBA champion, so
yeah, but I'm not gonna lie. I think there's a question of mine, like, why not decline it and take the 3 year, $64 million deal to give them cap space now?
I mean,
You're
they already expected him to take it anyways.
Yeah, but you could pull a Draymond. Let's be real. Draymond knew declining that option will get him way less money, but he's gonna get LeBron. He's gonna get a potentially a Kawhi. Now we know what happened with Kawhi, but that feels as though Andrew Wiggins, and I get it, you're right. He's an NBA champion, but Andrew Wiggins taking a pay cut would have given this team so much space. And now I'm sorry, after 2 of their signings, they might not have anything. They might not have
Well,
any
they
money
signed
to do a real move.
2 more guys also.
What
As
was that?
well as bringing back Wiggins, they signed another guy also.
Well, yeah, they signed. We can't talk about. We can. Well, they re-signed a guy and brought someone else in.
Yeah. But did you see I got rid of one because it had so but Zach LaVine opted into his $49 million player option.
You know, I'm surprised I'm about to remove one of yours because also the next one is not going to happen. It's pretty much a guarantee he resigns. I don't know if you saw that. It's a guarantee he resigns at this point.
Okay, I didn't even see that. But
It's
I
they
think
just
it's a good move, honestly, for them to keep him. Like we talked so much crap on Jalen Duren, but in reality, after trading somebody else, they're kind of thin right now at the position. But
yeah.
Zach LaVine is whatever. Him opting in is whatever. Who cares? But where do you think LeBron is going to end up? In all honesty,
I think Golden State.
I think yeah, I would like to see Miami again, only because anybody looks good in the Miami Heat uniform, and LeBron and Giannis. LeBronis
I don't think that team is as guaranteed to win a finals as everyone did that. I think that's a very
and
flawed.
Giannis,
Listen,
LeBron, Andrew Wiggins.
realistically, Bryce, if he wants to win a title, he probably should go back to Cleveland. That's his best bet with Donovan Mitchell, James Harden, Evan Mobley. It'll be a sign and trade for Jared Allen, most likely. But I think that Cleveland would give him the best chance.
I don't. LeBron has no leverage in a signing trade right now. The Lakers have no leverage because LeBron's gone. He already told them I'm not coming back.
Point is, I think his best bet would be then fine. You're right, even better for Cleveland. They wouldn't have to lose Jared Allen. We already know they're shopping Max Strus and Dennis Schroeder. By the way, as a Cavs fan, you can see the jersey. I don't want him to come back. I think he should go to Golden State or Miami. I don't think the team they have in Cleveland fits him at all. But if he
Yeah,
wants to win,
they have two playoff choke artists right now.
if he wants to if he wants to win it all, his best bet, especially staying out of the West. You want to try to make it out of the West with San Antonio, Golden State, Houston, Minnesota, and Denver to get through. No,
Okay. Speaking of Cleveland, James Harden is opting out of his $42.3 million player option, and him and the Cavs are working on a multi-year extension.
yeah, I appreciate that. You know, James Harden is doing what he needs to do. He understands he's made a lot of money in his career, been around for almost 20 seasons. He's taken a pay cut. He did that in LA. He did that in Philly.
I think
It's
they're
huge
expecting.
wounds for him.
I think
Hmm?
they're. I think he's doing this so LeBron comes there.
I think that's another. He's kind of pulling a Draymond. He's opting out of nearly $50 million, probably going to take a 2-year 64, and he's not losing that much money, but he knows taking that pay cut right away, it's going to help them possibly move for LeBron. So I understand that. I don't think it's going to work. I really think they're going to get minuscule moves this offseason, but I don't think they need major moves. They were in the Eastern Conference Finals. Don't break up the team too much. Bring back guys you need.
Yeah, yeah. I think James Harden did this exclusively so they can bring in LeBron. But Fred VanVleet opted into his $25 million player option. Do you think he stays in Houston?
Yeah. Unless they trade him, I don't think he's going anywhere.
Atlanta declined Jonathan Kuminga's $24.3 million team option. Do you think Jonathan Kuminga's time in Atlanta is up, or do you think they're going to work to bring
Yeah,
him?
he's gone. Yeah. I'm reading a lot that Cleveland is very interested in him.
Maybe start
Supposedly Sacramento is interested in him. If they can move off of one of the Sabonis or Levine contracts, they're going to give him a decent contract.
maybe.
I think Kuminga had a good last half of the season with Atlanta, but I don't think he fits in the team they need. They don't want to have someone else who might stun Zachary Reese-Shea's development. You need to give time to your young guys. Kuminga will get money elsewhere. I think it's his time there.
Speaking of a guy who's probably not going to get money elsewhere, Bradley Beal opted out of his $5.6 million player option. Didn't he play 2 games with the Clippers?
He may have played 2, max 5, but I think the Clippers are very happy he did this.
Yeah, it saves him $5.6 million. So Oklahoma City picked up Lou Dort's $17.7 million team option. I hate to say it, but I love it for the Thunder. Lou Dort is super important for the Thunder. So, and now we're gonna double up on the Raptors because the Raptors opted into Trace Jackson Davis's $2.4 million team option. It's going to be a really good center for them off the bench who played meaningful minutes for them down the stretch. And then Sandro Mamukelashvili is declining his $2.8 million player option, and he's going to become a free agent and really a hot commodity on the free agent market. Even though it hasn't really happened yet because nobody's really been signed yet. But
As a Cavs fan, I recognized how annoying he was in the playoffs. This man extends plays so well. Overall, we kind of saw how he rose to his fame with the Spurs. You can tell he brings that Spurs kind of basketball everywhere with him. I think he would be a great addition for anyone looking to make a run. I think I've heard him linked to the Lakers. I've heard him linked to the Celtics.
well, the Lakers are kind of linked to every available center right now.
Any team who gets him is getting a player who's going to give them a good amount of points per game, going to play great defense and a really good rebound.
Speaking of the Lakers, Austin Reeves kind of took a pay cut and re-signed with the Lakers on a 4-year, $185 million deal when it was rumored he was going to make around $55 million on the market had he have signed with another team. I'm pretty sure the Pistons were offering him like 4 years, 220 or something. But Austin Reeves kind of took a pay cut. So his market was around 55 and he re-signed for like 46 or something. 46 million.
You're the Lakers fan here. Dive into that a little bit.
I love this. I feel like Austin Reeves is a perfect number 2 to have alongside Luka because, yes, is their defense going to suck 100%. But when you have an offensive engine like Luka and you have a guy who can play the number 2 like Austin Reeves, doesn't matter if you can play good defense because when you easily There, Mark will or not Mark Williams, Mitchell Robinson is available. Sandro Mamukelashvili is available. You could potentially get Jalen Duren, who that's maybe an option right now. Who knows what's going on with Jalen Duren? Yeah, but and then you can bring back Vando's a decent defender, even though he never plays. There are options to improve your team. Jake LaRavia is a decent defender. I love the move, and I hope they do the right thing. I hope they do the right thing and build around those two.
I think this is going to be a fun team. I like it.
We'll just see if they can stay healthy.
I think that the Lakers are going to be a fun team probably in 2 or 3 years. I like the deal for Austin Reeves. I think a lot of people are sitting here crapping on it. What was he expected to do? Take $15 million again? Gonna get that money. He took a pay cut enough as is. There, people are expecting him to get over $200 million. So the fact that he's walking out 185 is huge. And once again, this is a tradable contract. Let's just say you get 2 years in and it's just not working. You need a defensive star around Luca. That is a great
Here's my
contract.
thing. Will Pelinka do it? Pelinka
No,
on the guy
let's,
for way too long.
let's get into this. Plinka sucks.
Yeah, Pelinka's terrible.
I respect Plinka for being Kobe's agent, but he only has that job because of that, and he sucks.
He
It's been
only he has the job because he lucked into LeBron, Anthony Davis, and Luka Doncic.
And yeah, he got the job because Nico Harrison hates himself. He
is only the Lakers GM right now still because Nico Harrison exists.
So yeah, no, it doesn't. Hopefully they fire him soon. Because let's be real here, if there was a competent GM, they probably would have landed a few good free agents by now.
Yeah, I mean anybody could have.
Shoot, if they had the Thunder's GM, dear God, what would we be doing?
Isaiah Hartenstein comes back to the Thunder, 3 years, $75 million.
Dude, even the Suns GM.
Yeah, Mark Williams, 3 years, 38. Kobe White returning to the Hornets on a 3 year 74 because of a deal that we're going to talk because of something we're going to talk about later. Landry Shamet returning to the Knicks on a 4 year $24 million deal. Jose Alvarado returning for a 3 year 14. Mohamed Diawara returning to the Knicks on a 2 year $10 million plus, right? Multi-year $10 million plus deal. Day'Ron Sharp, 2 years 20 to return to the Nets. Josh Mino, 2 year $9 million to return to the Nets. Julian Champagnie, 3 years $45 million to return to San Antonio. RJ Harper, 3 years $9 million to return to Boston. Al Horford returning to the Warriors on a 2 year 14. Yusuf Nurkic, 2 year $22 million to return to Utah. Kevin Huerter, 3 year $27 million deal to return to the Pistons. Kristaps, as we talked about earlier, 2 year $40 to return to Golden State. Harrison Barnes resigns for 1 year $8 million. Robert Williams resigns with the Blazers for 3 years $44. Simone Fontecchio re-signing for 1 year. Tim Hardaway Jr. signing with the Miami Heat for 1 year, $6.5 million deal for 1 year, $6.5 million. I think this is a bigger signing than people are giving it credit for.
I think he's a ceiling raiser, or sorry, a floor raiser. I think he is not the kind of guy who's going to make you a championship team, but he's going to be the kind of guy who's going to keep you out of the play-in. I like him. He's brought a lot of value to a lot of different teams. I believe he was with the Nuggets last year. Was a very good player for them. Everywhere he's been, you've seen a little bit better. So I
tell me the Nuggets couldn't have afforded 1 year, $6.5 million for.
Let's be honest here, with the atrocious Christian Braun contract, the terrible Cam Johnson contract, Zeke Naji, and they're going to have to find a way to re-sign Peyton Watson. It's going to be tough. So I think letting a guy who played for you but wasn't vital for you walk, and let's be honest, the Heat were desperate. They're not going to get Norm Powell back.
Yeah,
that's a re-signing we're not going to have to talk about. They're not going to get any of the big names. So what's it called? Tim Hardaway Jr., who is older, will be very beneficial.
Yeah. Keon Ellis leaves. That's another player that is
4 players who have left their team so far, by the way.
Keon Ellis, 2 years 18 with 2 years 18 to go to the Brooklyn. Kobe Sanders resigns for 3 years, 11.2. Brandon Carlson, who before I saw this, I had no idea who the hell he was, signs with the Blazers on a 1 year deal worth $2.5 million. Bones Highland resigns. That's a firework. Bones Highland resigns with the Timberwolves on a 1 year deal worth the.
It's not even July yet.
What?
It's not even July yet.
It's LA though. Fireworks go off for 365 days a year. DeAndre Jordan resigns with the Pelicans on a 1-year deal with the veterans minimum. So that's what the Pelicans are doing with their money. Just that's terrible. Precious Achua, Usman Jiang resigns with the Bucks, 3 years, 17.5. Precious Achua resigns with the Sacramento, 2 years, 11.5. Jock Londale resigns with the Hawks, 1 year, 14. Luke Kennard signs with the Phoenix Suns for 2 years, $13 million. And then Zach Collins resigns with the Bulls,
You know,
2 years, 17.
after trading away Grayson Allen, I think Luke Kennard fills in that sharpshooter spot really well. We saw how important Luke Kennard was to the Lakers.
Dean
Right.
Wade, 4 years, $39 million to go to Philadelphia.
I hate that
That's huge for
so much.
Philadelphia.
That sucks for the Lakers. They were really keen on him. Dude, Dean Wade is an amazing defender.
Rob Pelinka's probably spent the last 4 hours trying to talk to Walker Kessler right now.
You realize Rob Pelinka is probably calling Timothy Mozgov.
Hey, Timothy, you want to play for 4 years, $72 million again?
No, those two, first off, Luke Kennard is going to be an amazing sign for Phoenix. I think we saw how he exploded in that Lakers series, how he stepped up, and I think that Dean Wade is going to be someone who's going to completely raise the ceiling. Like I said with away, outstanding defender, great spot up shooter, is going to be just a dog on defense. I really hate losing him as a Cavs fan, but I knew they couldn't afford to bring him.
I think he's going to be in Philadelphia what they thought Cody Martin was when they traded for him.
To be honest, he's going to be what they thought Matisse Thybulle was going to be.
Yeah. He's an underrated 3-and-D wing. He's been a long time Cav. He's what, almost 10 years now? He was almost a
there
Cav
for a little while. He was with Milwaukee for a little bit.
Yeah. But yeah, no, even the Zach Collins re-signing is underrated too. Zach Collins is a good depth piece who's not really going to make that much money. He's going to play a little bit, but he's not really going to make teams worse, but he's also not really going to make them any better. What are you looking at?
I'm just reading about this freaking so upsetting.
Okay, now we're going to get into the fun part because we've had the excitement of the offseason has been trades, because I don't think we're going to see a world in the 2026 free agency where all the signings are that big of a deal. We've already seen a record amount of trades in one offseason already, because the Charlotte Hornets traded Miles Bridges, a 2026 first round pick, and a 2027 second round pick to Phoenix for Grayson Allen, Royce O'Neal, and a 2033 first round pick. What is your takeaway on this trade for both teams?
Charlotte got fleeced. Like, Miles Bridges is atrocious.
Charlotte got
losing Miles Bridges?
Sorry,
not Charlotte. Sorry. Phoenix got
That's
fleeced.
what I was saying.
My bad. Phoenix got fleeced. Miles Bridges is terrible. First, let's be real here.
He's not terrible.
The PR coming from him, awful. To bring in a literal domestic abuser, proven, awful. Really, this is a subpar player. Okay, defensively. Not going to be someone
player.
Solid, okay, defensively. Not going to be someone you can bring in and fit alongside Jalen Green, Devin Booker, and Dylan Brooks. Your 3 stars. It was a waste of a trade. You lose a guy like Grayson Allen and Royce O'Neal, who are 2 really good players, and that 2033 first round pick could be really important.
Yeah.
By that, I'm sorry, that's 6 years from the start of the next season.
Booker's going to be 38.
What Devin Booker will look like.
38.
We don't know. And I'm sorry, I always think it's funny for someone to get traded for like a 10-year-old.
That's
a 10 or 11-year-old. You're being traded. I saw what's his name, Ben Houselog, talk about that, but he's right. It's so weird to see players who are like in their prime getting traded for a 10 or 11-year-old.
I know. It's
like, man,
it's a great move for Charlotte because they lost a guy who we're going to talk about later and replaced him with shooting. They got 3 great shooters in their 2 deals.
And I'm sorry, I think the most underrated asset they got was Royce O'Neal. I think someone who we know what he brings on the court.
He's going to be
and Royce O'Neal is not an amazing player. He's also a really good locker room leader. Someone who has been around winning teams. I think he is going to be outstanding. There's a reason that when the trade deadline came around, people were thinking Royce O'Neal might have went for a first round pick by himself.
Yeah. Royce O'Neal was a guy who last season in Phoenix shot like 240 one-dribble jumpers or more, because he's a guy who he's a great spot-up shooter, and now he's proven that he can take guys off the dribble and shoot. That's even more valuable, as well as bringing elite defense. But
This was a
next,
fantastic move.
we're going to talk about another minor move but a really impactful move because the Thunder traded Isaiah Joe to the Hawks for 2 future second round picks. And I think this is one of the 2 moves they made to really get them under the second apron to where they could bring back Hartenstein and they could bring back what's it called?
Dort.
Lou Dort.
This right here, this is another proof to me why Presti is the best GM in basketball. Yes, Isaiah Joe's a good player. There's no ignoring that. Very, very talented player, but realistically, he didn't have a space on this team that we really wanted to see. So I think this is a team, like, this is a player who, first off, is going to be good for both. Like, he's going to be good no matter what. But also the picks, you don't know what you're going to get out of them. We've seen these guys absolutely smash their second round picks.
AJ Mitchell.
Oh my gosh, yeah. For some reason, I thought they traded Aaron Wiggins, but I guess
They did.
they traded Aaron Wiggins. I thought Isaiah Joe went to Detroit.
It might have been Detroit and
I think Aaron Wiggins went to
yeah. Yeah, I think it was Detroit.
Aaron
Because
Wiggins was the
Aaron
one who
Wiggins
went.
went to Atlanta. Isaiah Joe went
Sorry,
to
Isaiah Joe's in Detroit, Aaron Wiggins is in Atlanta. But we can talk about both of those trades because OKC. This is weird because I think all 3 teams won. Atlanta got a great player, Detroit got a great player, and OKC got picks. That we know they're masters of maneuvering.
Yeah, and yeah, that was the Aaron Wiggins one was before draft night.
Yeah,
All
that
the
was like
trades we're talking about have been
I
since
can't not.
the last
Everyone was
time we
obsessed.
recorded.
Everyone was obsessed to see where Giannis was going, and we got to break it. We got a tweet from Shams about a trade, and it was Aaron Wiggins.
Everybody was so mad. They're like, break the
The
Giannis trade
hate
already.
the hate comments he was getting.
Oh, he's getting hate comments today for sleeping, essentially.
There's a car alarm going off.
But now we're
Sounds
going to
like-
talk about the other Hornets trade because this one's maybe not as favorable for the Hornets because they traded Lamelo Ball and Josh Green to Minnesota for Naz Reid, a 2033 unprotected first round pick, 3 first round pick swaps in 2028, 2029, and 2030, and 3 second round picks 2029, 2032, and 2033.
The 2032 high school draft class is just getting a lot of love in this offseason. So I'm noticing here. I struggle with this. I think the Hornets were a team that they looked amazing last year. I get why they made this move. You sell high on a guy, you're not sure if he's going to have the same season, not sure he's going to get healthy.
You get a guard back for him.
No, they traded away Josh Green on top of it. Like, they traded away Lamelo and Josh Green. You get, yes, a position of need with Naz Reid, but I'm not as high on Naz Reid as everyone else is. I think Naz Reid is good. I don't think he is Lamelo Ball talented. And I don't know how good these picks are going to be.
I think a bigger position of need for them was a Lamelo Ball replacement because, yes, they brought back Kobe White, but Kobe White, let's be honest, cannot do what Lamelo Ball can do when Lamelo Ball plays basketball. Lamelo Ball is one hell of a passer. He is arguably one of the 2 to 3 best passers in the NBA right now.
Hey, shout out to numbers on the board. They were talking about this earlier. Like, look, let's be real here. Con Knipple's amazing, but he is not getting all these shots unless Lamelo Ball is setting him up for them.
Was Con Kniple as good last year because Con Kniple's good, or was he as good last year because LaMelo was eating up so much pressure and so much space that Con Kniple was able to move around and get the ball open, and he had a point guard who found him at every single spot on the floor possible?
And first off, I do think Khan is outstanding, but I wonder, I do think that the Timberwolves win this trade. We know the Timberwolves are not scared to give up first round picks, but with 2 players who are still relatively young, close to the same age, and who are
too.
They're also very similar in personality. I think you're going to see this team thrive. The only question I have for them is what is your big depth going to look like? Right now, your starting power forward is going to be Jaden McDaniels, who is a better wing, if anything else. Now, Rudy Gobert is great, but he's 34 years old. You kind of have to hope Joanne Berenjay becomes that guy. Now, do I trust Chris Finch? I do. I think Chris Finch is a great coach. My only worry is if they miss out on all of the potential free agents.
Yeah.
You need to land It doesn't even have to be Mitchell Robinson. It has to be someone on the level of like an 18C.
At least reliable, at least. A
You need a
reliable
backup
center.
center.
Sandro Mamukelashvili, maybe?
My gosh, you can get him for probably $7 to $8 million.
But speaking of another trade that's kind of questionable, the Detroit Pistons traded Isaiah Stewart to the Memphis Grizzlies for 3 future second-round picks. I don't know what Detroit's offseason has looked like so far. I don't know why they've made the moves that they've made, especially if all the Jalen Duren news I'm hearing is true, in which he is out of there, where he wants Sacramento to give them max money, or he wants max money, and Detroit will not give it to him.
What I read about an hour ago was that he basically has accepted he's going to be there. They're refusing to do any sign and trades, so they're going to match any offer. Jalen Duren will be back. So your center rotation now is looking like Jalen Duren and Paul Reed, which is great. Isaiah Stewart was getting DNPs and getting pull out of games pretty early. I think Isaiah Stewart moving to the Grizzlies actually doesn't make sense with the Grizzlies, but it's great for the Pistons. Now, yes, you have to hope that Isaiah Stewart is there if Zach Heaney gets hurt, which we've seen a lot of injuries from him, but Isaiah Stewart may bring back a bit of that grit and grind Grizzlies we knew of. I just don't know how well he fits on this team that's so young, trying to build an identity.
This is kind of a head-scratching move because the Kings are trading Devin Carter and a second-round pick to the Hawks, and the Shams never gave the trade composition.
They basically just say, hey, take him.
Yeah, they basically gave up.
It could be just for cash consideration. That
Maybe.
we've seen these trades before.
Maybe.
Devin Carter was a guy who just didn't get enough of a chance. I think we've seen how atrocious Sacramento is at developing players. I have a little word for
Marvin Bagley over Luka Doncic.
Bryce, you can kind of speak on the Kings as a team in general, just they're in the same conference and division as your favorite team, Lakers.
I mean, Sacramento is a team that since 2006 has really proven that they're kind of an incompetent basketball team because in 2018 they had a chance to draft Luka Doncic at pick 2, but because Vlade Divac didn't like the coach that Luka Doncic had or Luka Doncic's agent, he went with Marvin Bagley instead over Luka Doncic, and now we're seeing that Luka Doncic is one of the 2 or 3 best players on the planet, and Marvin Bagley is a rotational player with the Wizards. This is a team who also had De'Aaron Fox, Domantas Sabonis, De'Aaron Fox and Tyrese Halliburton, and traded Tyrese Halliburton for Domantas Sabonis, and they've really got one playoff appearance since then, and ever since then, they've traded De'Aaron Fox. DeMar DeRozan's potentially going to be released. Zach LaVine is potentially going to be bought out, and now Domantas Sabonis might be traded, meaning they've already blown up a core that they just made the playoffs with 2 seasons ago, because they do not know. The Kings front office do not know how to run a successful organization and a
I was
successful
reading
team.
that the Wizards are probably going to poach Russell Westbrook from them. So one of their better players from this last season.
Their best player last year.
Honestly, yeah, Russell's probably their star.
This is a team who has
capitalizing on
wasted DeMarcus Cousins. They wasted DeMarcus Cousins also. I forgot to mention that.
You have to wonder, why are you holding on to Domantas Sabonis when you have Maxine Reynaud, who's in the wings ready? You have, they're at least give the young guy a chance.
This team also drafted Georges Papagiannis, though, so can't really expect much out of a team. They also drafted, no, that was Phoenix that drafted Dragon Bender. Never mind. Phoenix drafted Dragon Bender to be the next Kristaps.
But this team is a very bad drafting team.
But speaking of a guy that was rumored to go to Sacramento, the Ja Morant trade saga is finally over because the Memphis Grizzlies traded Ja Morant to the Trailblazers for Jeremy Grant and Chris Murray. This has to be a trade in which more moves are going to get done. Because right now, the Blazers have no legitimate forwards outside of Denny Avdija. I'm pretty sure he's their only forward on the roster right now.
What I'm hearing is they're probably going to play him at power forward, and Shady Sharp is going to be their small forward.
Shady Sharp at 3?
Yeah, with him being 6'5". Your backup power forward to be Tumani Kamara, who is fresh off of 2 seasons ago an all-NBA defensive appearance. I do wonder, I think everyone has the same questions. What are they doing fit-wise?
Because
they're going to move.
Just started to show potential.
I think they have to move Drew Holiday.
So right now, they're guards. Are there meaningful guards right now John Morant, Damian Lillard, Drew Holiday, Shaden Sharp, and Scoot Henderson. That is 6 guards right now that could potentially be a starter that they're not going to be able to start now.
So the thought process will be the rotation will go John Morant, Damian Lillard, Shaden Sharp, Denny Avdia, and obviously Donovan.
And they brought back Robert, and they brought
This
back
was
Time Lord as back.
also
So
this was also a team that was in the Jaylen Brown sweepstakes. This move has pretty much pulled them out of it. I don't foresee them making any other moves like that. I do think we'll see Drew Holiday probably shipped off to a Celtics. Would not be surprised if we saw someone like a Jordan Walsh in the move just to get them some kind of depth with younger pieces. I do wonder if this spells the end for Scoot Henderson, a good young player, but can probably fetch you some kind of market, maybe even getting a decent wing and a Zach LaVine.
why would you do that?
I mean, if you're the Kings, you do that in a heartbeat.
Yeah, oh yeah, if you're the Kings, but if you're the Portland Trailblazers, why would you
I'm just
trade a
saying,
guard for another guard? I mean, you're already too deep
no,
at guard.
no. Levine is big enough to play small forward. He's fine. He can play your backup three.
I wouldn't.
The point is, I think you kind of have to look at Drew and Scoot as expendable. You're not going to trade a franchise legend in Damian Lillard. Yes, he has probably like 3 or 4 years left in his career.
I mean,
You just traded for John Morant. He is going to be your second option behind Denny. Donovan Clingan's already marked as an untouchable. If they weren't willing to move him for Jaylen Brown, a Finals MVP, they're surely not moving him for anything else. You have to look at Drew and Scoot as your 2 valuable options to trade.
so before we talk about the big one, there have been reports that Jaylen Brown has played his last game in Boston because he is both teams, both him and the Celtics are looking to move on from each other. Where does Jaylen Brown end?
Boston. I don't think there's a trade market for him. They're asking 4 to 5 first round picks, and that's just not going to happen. No team is going to give that to them. The only package they probably would have taken was a Kawhi Leonard move. And I just, now that we've seen the trade we're going to talk about, I don't foresee anything actually happening with this. I think we will see another season of Jaylen Brown on the Celtics.
I mean, I think he's done in Boston. I think he is. Because he's a guy who's never felt like he's been respected in Boston by the front office. Because he's been the Finals MVP, but let's be honest, nobody really looked at him as the star of the team. And even when Jason Tatum was recovering from his Achilles tear, it was him and Derek White carrying the load, and they're the reason why the Boston was the 2nd seed this year. And then Jason Tatum comes back, and they immediately struggle, and they get eliminated by blowing a 3-1 lead in the first round. But they're not going to place the blame on Jason Tatum, who takes the fall. The Finals MVP, the real best player on the Boston Celtics.
If I'm being honest, the only 2 teams who have the assets to do it probably won't do it. One is Golden State,
Charlotte.
and the other, no, I wasn't even thinking Charlotte. I was more thinking it used to be Portland.
Atlanta also?
Atlanta, yeah, but who are you going to go? Risa? I think what we're seeing is the Celtics want it big. So do you take on Porzingis and Jimmy Butler and some picks? No, you're not doing that. Do you take on Anthony Davis, maybe Bilal Coulibaly and some picks? Probably not. He's already off the market. The move was going to be Donovan Clingan. They just don't want to move on of it. I don't think the Celtics accept a mid-level center. I'm sorry, as much as Lakers fans want to say it, you're probably not going to get DeAndre Ayton and a bunch of picks for it. That's just not
I
happening.
don't want Jaylen Brown as a
The
Laker.
only other team who I think can make that move is Cleveland, but I don't think they're giving up Evan Mobley.
Maybe Jared Allen.
Jared Allen doesn't have the value to land you a Finals MVP. In my opinion, I think you're right. The best player on that team, Jared Allen, is not good enough. You had to give up Evan Mobley, and I'm not giving up a 24-year-old for an almost 30-year-old. I think Jaylen Brown turns to the Celtics next year with a chip on his back to play well enough to get traded the next offseason.
Now, the big one, because the last trade domino fell today, in which over the last few days, the Clippers and the Toronto Raptors were talking about a potential Kawhi Leonard trade, and it finally happened today, in which the Clippers trade Kawhi Leonard to the Raptors for Brandon Ingram, Grady Dick, a 2027 first round pick swap, a 2031 and 2033 unprotected first round pick, and a 2030 and 2033 second round pick. And Kawhi Leonard wants to retire as a member of the Raptors, so he is going to sign an extension.
I think this is a win-win. One of the once again rare win-wins for both teams. I do think that Kawhi being on the first off, let's talk about how good the Raptors were last year. Took the Eastern Comp took a team who went to the Eastern Conference Finals to 7. Really could have won that last game if it wasn't for Jared Allen being Game 7 Jared Allen. I think this Raptors team was a literal superstar away. I think Scotty Barnes is great, but he should not be shouldering the entire offensive load. And the fact that they kept Jacoby Walter and Jamal Sheed in this is phenomenal. Or and Colin Murray Boyles.
They were willing to throw in extra picks just so they didn't have to get rid of Jamal Shed or Colin Murray.
And I think it was awesome. I think they did the right thing. Now, for the Clippers side of this, I think we still recognize Brandon Ingram's a very good player. I get there's a lot of people talking about how he's in the playoffs. I think he's a fantastic player and all-star. You are going to get someone who's going to pair up very well with Darius Garland. Look, Darius Garland, as a Cavs fan, I recognize he is a fantastic pick and roll passing point guard. You're going to get him getting a lot of really good open looks for Brandon Ingram. Benedict Mathern's probably going to be back. This is going to be a competitive team next year, probably a play-in team for the next few years who doesn't own their own pick. Why get worse? Get really bad. Brandon Ingram's going to keep you at least in the running. I also like the addition of Grady Dick. He's young. You might not play him much right now, but he's still young, and the picks could be awesome when Kawhi inevitably retires or goes down with injury.
Honestly, I think that the Clippers did a perfect job with realizing that the Kawhi Leonard, Paul George era was over and getting rid of all the guys that had some value left. Kawhi Leonard got obviously 3 first rounders, Brandon Ingram, Grady Dick, and 2 second rounders. Paul George signed, left for nothing. And then they traded James Harden for essentially Darius Garland and a first round pick this year. And then they traded Zubats for Benedict Mathurin and the 5th overall pick, in which they ended up getting
Isaiah Jackson.
Keaton Wagler. Yeah, and they got Isaiah Jackson too. So this is a team who they're not going to be bad next year. They won't, because Brandon Ingram and Darius Garland will at least keep the team afloat. They will keep the team from being bad. Maybe they'll be around 41, 42, 43 wins. They were 44 wins last year. But Keaton Wagler is going to be good next year. I'm really curious just to see if they're going to bring back Benedict Mathurin. I like Benedict Mathurin. I think they should bring back Benedict Mathurin. I think it's really just a matter of what he's getting paid, because I don't think they want to spend too much money on Benedict Mathurin. But Kawhi Leonard is still a guy who played arguably he had just the best season of his career last year. He did. He averaged 29 points a game, 7th in MVP voting, and he led them to the play-in game in which he had 29 points in the going into the third quarter, or going into the fourth quarter. And this was a guy who can still keep you in title contention. And this is a team in the Raptors who they're looking to take the next step. And Brandon Ingram was a guy that you can look at and say, hey, maybe if we had Kawhi Leonard last year, instead of Brandon Ingram, we're going to the conference finals. Because I think that they would have been better than the Cavs last year. I think they still would have beaten the Pistons, and I think that maybe they would have taken a game or two off of the Knicks in the conference finals. So this is a team who's going to be fighting to be one of the 2 or 3 best teams in the East next.
I do think this all comes down to Kawhi's health. Obviously, we've seen the serious knee issues Kawhi's had in the past. As much as I'm not the biggest fan of Vincent Goodwill, after his absolutely idiotic comment about calling the NBA the Larry O'Brien participation trophy, he is right. It's weird that every time there's a contract year, Kawhi seems to be as healthy as possible. One thing we know is Kawhi is gonna
for Kawhi. When
it comes to a important season. So I do think you're probably going to lose about 30 to 35 games of Kawhi, no matter what. It's just load management minimum. You're going to lose 30 to 35. He doesn't care about all NBA teams. He doesn't care about winning awards. He's done enough of that.
Kawhi will Kawhi Leonard MVP, and he's got 2.
You will get Kawhi Leonard in the playoffs, which is the most important thing. Look, this Raptors team was good enough with missing Brandon Ingram for a lot of the season to make the playoffs. Once you get a guy like Kawhi Leonard, I think you're right. They take down Cleveland. They take down Detroit. I don't think they take down New York. That was a team of destiny. They're going all the way no matter what. This coming season, I am scared of Toronto. And full on, I'm scared of Toronto.
I think Also, if they really wanna be taken more serious, I think they have to get a better point guard. I don't think Emmanuel Quickley is the point guard for them if they want to really be looked at as a serious title contender. IQ is a guy who is really a bad shot taker and not necessarily a bad shot maker. He's a guy who is inefficient. He's a guy who's always hurt because they didn't have him in the playoffs last year. You could argue that they have had him. Maybe it would have been a different story. Also, but I think Emmanuel Quigley is not a guy who is a starting point guard on a championship caliber team. And I think
I do think there are more moves to be made. To be honest, I would love to see Emmanuel quickly on a team like the Nets. I think he's a bit of a tank commander. We saw that with him not playing in the playoffs, they actually look better. While he's a very good player, no one is questioning his talent. He is a genuinely good player. I think there's a lot of point guards. Honestly, if I were the Raptors, I would look for a guy like Ty Jerome, a very good
Trey
facilitating point
Jones,
guard who
Trey Jones, maybe.
Jones, I would look for a guy who's cheaper and will get you a good 6 to 9 assists a night and at least 12 to 14 points per night. I don't think you need the scoring punch that Emmanuel quickly brings when you have a guy like RJ Barrett, Kawhi Leonard, Scotty Barnes, and then if Jakob Pertl can become a player again,
I
something
think
like
that maybe they try to package IQ and Jakob Pertl to get a solid point guard.
I mean, to be honest, can we be real here? I think the move to be made is to somehow find a way to get Drew Holiday. Imagine that defensive lineup
Perfect.
of Drew Holiday, Kawhi Leonard, and Scotty Barnes.
And Kawhi's not the same defender that he was back in 2019, but he's still a pretty good defender. He's
Still a
still,
top 30 defender.
yeah, I think he still is. He's not DPOY level again anymore,
No, God.
but because he's 35 years old, nobody expects 35-year-old
I think
Kawhi to be
I think you recognize you don't have much of Kawhi left. You're gonna have like 3 years left
maybe
in
3-4 years of Kawhi left.
max. I think you have to maximize his talent and bring around sharpshooters and defenders.
And this is a guy who, regardless, is going to get his jersey retired in the Raptors of Toronto. You could argue he's the greatest player in Raptors history because he did something that no other player was ever able to bring them, and that is a ring. So there's always
Honestly,
respect in Toronto for
if there's a reroute for him, I think Jeremy Grant would be amazing as a bench player for this team. I think the scoring punch he brings you and the defense he brings, I would love to see a reroute of Jeremy Grant, possibly sending Jakob Pertl out just to get off that terrible contract.
yeah, that's a guy who could be reliable behind.
Give the keys to Colin Murray Boyles. He's ready.
Yeah. But yeah, no, that's gonna do it for the episode. This was a long episode of
Very long.
just basketball talking because I think we talked 40 minutes of basketball because I had like a
You went too far with
I
basketball.
had a page and a half of almost 2 pages of basketball
Isn't it?
clips essentially.
And it's 11 o'clock Eastern time on like Tuesday night. There's more things that are come out over the next few days. We don't know where a lot of guys are gonna go.
We don't know where LeBron's gonna go yet. We don't know what's gonna happen with Jaylen Brown. We don't know what's going to happen with is Portland done? Probably not, but they gotta make more moves, so they have to answer their forward depth issue. They have to answer their too many guards issue. Boston has to figure out what their roster is gonna look like because Jaylen Brown is done. He's done in Boston. I will tell you that right now.
Disagree, but we'll see.
I mean, you also thought Giannis was not getting traded.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I'm a pessimist. You guys will learn I'm a pessimist when it comes to trades.
You also thought
I
Giannis
didn't
wasn't
think it
gonna.
was gonna get moved.
I thought the Hornets though did it perfectly with their trading Lamelo. I think that I don't like the trade package, but I do think that they they probably heard out a few trades, and even the Clippers with Kawhi, they probably entertained offers from the Mavs as well, and they didn't like it.
The
So
Timberwolves- I know the Timberwolves reached out.
the Timberwolves reached out. I don't think the Timberwolves are done either. I still think that they have moves they could improve their forward.
See if Rudy lasts, to be honest.
What
If we'll see if Rudy survives this offseason with them.
if Rudy? Because all we have to get is a sample size of Rudy not being able to catch Lamelo passes, and he may be on the way out soon.
You guys better hope that Timberwolves better hope he can survive it because they need that defense
They do. After trading Julius Randle, they need something.
and Nas Reed. But that is about an hour and a half of a podcast. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bryce, want to carry us out of here?
Yeah. Thank you guys for watching. I'm glad to be able to record again after not the greatest few days, but
Well, yeah. So, real quick, I don't know if you guys follow the TikTok, but Bryce and his fiance Mary lost their longtime dog Gus. So definitely in the comments, send their prayers. They're dealing with it the best they
Yeah.
can, but it's still a family member. It's tough.
But
So guys,
yeah, thanks for obviously tuning in last week. If you tuned into the 2.5, it was like a 2.5 hour live stream that we did. It was a long live stream.
get
Well,
some people in there
we did. There was, I think, 2 people watching the whole time in the live stream.
the entire time. Yeah,
I think.
They just-
I know that was actually,
not bad.
but yeah, obviously be on the lookout for more content. Maybe with free agency going crazy, we'll film another one of these. Maybe
Yeah, we might have to do an emergency LeBron
we might
podcast.
have to do an emergency LeBron one. Who knows? We'll see. It's probably going to be a few days for LeBron because we've heard now it's not about money with LeBron anymore. It's about trying to
He's
find the
on,
right fit to where he can play meaningful basketball and play winning basketball and help a team get a ring and him get his 5th ring.
aka he's dragging it out.
Yeah, he's dragging it out. We probably won't know until August. No, we'll
Honestly,
know before
no,
then.
no, it'll about 2 weeks, I think.
I think it'll be by the end of the week, but still.
I hope so.
I
It's only
don't
3
know.
days, so we can handle that.
Maybe the 4th of July, like KD did 10 years ago.
LeBron's decision 5.0.
But let's be honest. So okay, I'm gonna do one final rant before we go because Laker fans, I'm talking specifically to you right now. The Lakers should never be allowed to get a superstar again in their prime because Lakers fans complain and they moan that get our team a superstar because we haven't had one. The Lakers haven't had one since Kobe retired. What happens? LeBron falls into the Lakers' laps in 2018. No, 2017, 2018. And LeBron gets there, and there's so much hope that LeBron's going to bring a title back to LA. And then the first 2 seasons don't necessarily go how Lakers fans hoped. And then what happens? Anthony Davis gets traded to the Lakers. The Lakers immediately get a ring. Automatically, it's a Mickey Mouse ring because you don't like LeBron. Lakers fans are saying this. Lakers fans, because they don't like LeBron, and no offense, it's Kobe fans. It is Kobe fans. LeBron, for the last 8, 9 seasons, has shown Lakers fans nothing but appreciation and love and honor to wear the same uniform that previous greats like George Mikan, Jerry West, Elgin Baylor, Wilt Chamberlain, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Shaquille O'Neal, James Worthy, Jamal Wilkes, Kobe have all got to wear. Gail Goodrich have all got to wear. LeBron has shown nothing but appreciation, and Laker fans just actually destroy him and say, good, I can actually watch Laker games again because LeBron James is gone. What are we doing? If you're a Laker fan now and supporting the Lakers because LeBron James is gone, were you a Laker fan in the first place? Or were you just a LeBron hater and you didn't want to support anything he did? Which, if you are not a LeBron supporter on the basketball court, what are you doing? This is a guy who we will never see anybody, any athlete in general, like LeBron James again, scoring 20 plus points for 24 straight seasons, being a top 15 player in their sport for 24 straight seasons. Even Tom Brady was good. Tom Brady didn't become elite until year 8 in his career. It wasn't until he got Randy Moss that he took the next step. LeBron, at 20 years old, led a team to an NBA championship and won 65 games that year. Appreciate greatness while it's there, because now what are the Lakers going to do? What are the Lakers going to do? Because there's going to be an awkward transition now. Because the Lakers before, people want to forget that Luka didn't play in the playoffs this year. LeBron single-handedly carried the Lakers to a playoff win, to a playoff series win in 2026 at 42 or at 41 years old. Like, what are we doing? We need to be better. But rant over. I ranted on the Lakers fans for like 3 minutes, but Lakers fans kind of deserve it right now. I know you kind of tuned out there.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I was checking my email for work.
Anyways, that's going to do it. If you guys like the podcast, you know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe. Use code 2brospodcast at w.gg for 10% off your first purchase.
Buy it. It's
Yeah,
fine.
go ahead. What are you doing if you haven't got it?
Just drink it. Buy it right now.
Actually, it's really
If you don't buy it, you're one of those LeBron haters, and don't be that.
yeah, don't be a LeBron hater. Don't be a Tom Brady hater. Don't hate greatness. But yeah, anyways, we will see you guys next week. Maybe we'll see you guys sooner because an emergency quick episode talking about a big free agency move like a Jalen Brown trade or LeBron trade or LeBron signing. But we'll see you
Both.
guys next week. Or both, yeah. Maybe both happen in the same day, 5 minutes apart, and then we can talk about it in great detail. We will see you guys next time. That's what I'm gonna say because we don't know when. But peace.